In ancient tales, Pangu separated the heavens and earth, then Nuwa created gods. The Battle of Yan and Huang by the Yellow River led to the gradual establishment of human settlement. Initially, Kanji invented written characters documenting the legend of Hu Yu shooting the 9 suns. Following that, Jinwei soaring with her wings illustrates the perseverance of our ancestors. Great Yu, during his work on flood control, didn't enter his house despite passing it 3 times. Because of wrath, the pillar holding up the sky was broken. The sky-reaching tree collapsed, turning into a road. Our history is recorded through oral tradition. As the curtain falls on myth, the true stage of history unfurls. From the time of Yao and Shen to the Xia and Shang dynasties. From the taming of fire to the cultivation of mulberry and hemp for silk production. That is 4 seas and 8 wildernesses. To this day, merely a fading light endures. In the context of the Shang dynasty during the reign of the final human sovereign, at the deer platform vowed to resist until death. A wall built with bones of the dead. But it's merely 2 lines on paper. John famous saying from the Zhou dynasty, those who are willing get hooked. Thus, the national title was established as the Zhou dynasty, secured 8 centuries of peaceful prosperity. Yet it divided 100 autumns and springs. Just for the sake of a single glance from the beauty, a game was played with beacon fires that fought the feudal lords. The 500 years of the spring and autumn and warring states periods. The 5 centuries marked by ceaseless flames of war in the eras of the spring and autumn and the warring states. Yesterday's thoughts from the 100 schools of thought are now considered sacred wisdom. Watching Lazi arrive with the auspicious purple key, Confucius reciprocated with the courtesy of rights. The talents of the 100 schools that were fit to rule the world were not all buried in the yellow earth. The sword of King Gaojian of Yu, who endured hardship and ate bitterness. Shang pledge at the south gate, keeping his word with unfailing integrity. The perfect jade returns to its golden palace. Alas, a melody like 4 is no more seen. In the Qin dynasty, the cards had a uniform gauge, writing was standardized. Even now, the Great Wall still bears its traces. That person, unparalleled throughout history, alas, was not deified. That of all has proven difficult to sustain beyond the 2nd generation. Ask what is the meaning of seeking immortality, exhausting the strength of an entire nation. But even today, there are those who fail to understand that kings and nobles were not born with inherent status. Liu Ban was not as valiant as the overlord, yet he never claimed superiority over others. During the Chu Han contention, brotherly enmity, if left overnight, would become as wide as the river between Chu and Han. The hero's blood at the banks of the Wu River as it mingled with the waters seemed to whisper a mournful farewell. In English, during the Han dynasty, he securely took his seat in Xinian and ennobled 8 kings who were not of the Liu lineage. Yet outside the palace gates, high walls stand tall, but swords and blades can no longer be concealed within. And it was under whose authority Confucianism was honored, with silk being transported to where the Marquis of Champions charged in single-handedly, with his feats recorded by the historiographer from the Sima lineage. My great Han dynasty has reached its end. This whole court is filled with thieves stealing the nation. All fear the tongues of the world, thus the emperor becomes a mere puppet. At the time of the 3 kingdoms, when the world was divided into 3, the fiery liquor still retained its warmth. Pity the foundations laid by the 3 rulers, which were eventually unified and determined by the Sima family. The northern and southern dynasties, the rebellion of the 8 princes effectively split the realm in half, leading to the division into north and south. The desperate act of swapping children for sustenance in the book serves as more of a poignant, drawn-out sigh. Sui Emperor Yangan is known for traveling on the Grand Canal and initiating the imperial examination system. However, the criticism he received for exhausting the people and draining the treasury overshadows his achievements. In the past, at the walls outside the Xilin Yuan Gate during the Tang Dynasty, there were hidden swords and blades. Without the bloodshed, there would be no prosperous Great Tang Dynasty. A female emperor through the ages who dares to say she was inferior to any man. The epitaph without words, a blank line inscribed, asks of merits and faults, why bother to decide? After the An Lashan rebellion, no heroes arose, it's merely a matter of life or death, just one path to choose. A 3-year-old child's playful nursery rhymes, none could surpass the wit of Wang Chao. Until the 8th of next September arrives, when my flowers bloom, all others fade, their fragrance rises high to penetrate, and the whole city seems dressed in golden armor. Back then, wearing the imperial robe, he gave up military power with a toast. Thinking back years later, it's clear to see this was an act of both loyalty and integrity. People still scorn the Jinkan disgrace to this day, and back then, being devoted and patriotic was deemed a mistake. If the general does not return to court, who could harm you in the slightest? Yet a baseless charge, a mere thread of guilt, is indeed an unpardonable sin. Under the iron hopes of the Great Khan, even heroes with white hair were defeated. Throughout this vast land, the tale is told that all nations fear his might so bold. In the Ming era, whether monk or beggar who secured an unvanquished land, the hero's very plight, alas, lies in the swiftness of his blade and axe. Alas, the Tumil crisis brought an end to prosperous days that proved hard to renew. For an exchange of shattered bones and dust, a snowfall in June, a rare sight to pursue. On that fateful day, one man remained, with no ministers at his feet to obey. He followed the ancestral command, yet the emperor perished at the nation's gate. When troops from all directions attack, the departure is firm and resolute. This world resembles a chess game, but only the player in it can be bewildered. In the Qing era, a furious outburst for sake was merely a tale passed around. Seeking fame and fortune in one's prime endures a century-long slanderous sound. Qing forces entered the pass, pacified 3 feudatories, seized Taiwan with their naval might. Quite a feat indeed, these actions were like conquering high mountains. Yet mistakes in isolating for a century can't be denied. In solitude, I embraced the wind that reads no script. Later one's ambitions mirror China's soaring wings. From Pangu to end, 5,000 years colors shine on for us.